Good Monday morning, everybody, from House Onek. I'm meteorologist Austen Onek. The crinkling sound you hear is the dog chewing on a crinkle sock right now, so a little bit of some extra audio going on. It is Monday morning, the 17th of August, back to work or back to school. Let's not forget to check those crosswalks this morning and this afternoon for those students that are heading back to in-person teaching out there. And whatever you do, again, heading out into the community, wear your mask. It's going to be very important to make certain that we get that level of mask wearing up if we want to get the virus level down. So let's all participate and make certain that we're keeping each other safe on there. Going to be a warm one for today. Could even be a stray shower out there or even a random thunderstorm. The chances are pretty low at this point, but we're just not seeing much of anything at this time showing up on radar. We're seeing the usual insects and flocks of birds taking off. You can see that circular area, a couple of them actually taking part, one up around Millington and one down around Memphis downtown. Those are called roost rings. As the birds lift off, they spread out and they're detected on radar. So we can see some of that for this morning. Other than that, nothing showing up in the way of rainfall across the Mid-South for right now. Umbrella, might want to take it with you. You might be dodging a few raindrops coming up later on today, but that's really going to be about it. Something to cool you off if you haven't seen this before from the InSight lander on Mars, keeping track of some weather up there on the fourth rock from the sun and looking at a high temperature of 5 degrees Fahrenheit, 16 degrees below 0 Celsius. Again, that's not too shabby. That's the high temperature, so that might be something to cool you off. Want this information and want to cool off yourself by looking at weather on another planet? Stay tuned. We'll have more on that for you coming up in just a bit. Earthquakes in the Mid-South area, keeping track of the new Madrid Fault. Yes, technically it's not weather, but again, for you nitpickers out there, that is the case. Looking at science around the Mid-South, and it's really cool to see this from the University of Memphis Center for Earthquake Research and Information. We did have one earthquake very early this morning. Matter of fact, about almost 2 hours ago, 2.1 just to the east of I-55, south of Caruthersville, into around the area just northeast of Steele, Missouri, in the Boot Heel. But beyond that, we haven't seen anything else in the Mid-South throughout the course of the day. Keeping an eye on the tropics, we've got, again, the possibility of new disturbances developing into something a little bit larger. And as of right now, these do not have any names to them, but they may have names coming up a little bit later on, depending on how strong they get. One right off the coast of Africa, and as of right now, again, about a 20% chance of that developing closer to the United States. This one just north of South America and just to the east of the Leeward Islands has about a 50% chance of developing into something. Now, as of right now, that's about as good as it gets, but as we go into the next several days, these definitely need to be watched, especially if you're going to be doing anything heading down toward the Gulf of Mexico. That stronger one down toward just north of South America, this one might have the opportunity to make its way into the Gulf of Mexico, but again, we're talking about a week's time difference. As that difference gets a little bit closer in time, we'll be able to give you a little bit more information about what we may be seeing there in the next several days, so definitely want to stay tuned. And this is very important because as of right now, that red color in the Gulf of Mexico, those are temperatures over about 83, 84 degrees Fahrenheit, which means that is bathtub water out there, and that is good fuel for anything firing up when it comes to anything involving tropical storms or hurricanes. So something to watch between Brownsville, Corpus Christi, all the way over to Sarasota and the Keys. You're going to have to watch this very carefully to see what's going on, and definitely want to keep track as to what's happening. We'll help you out with that here. Not much here this morning, just a little bit of cloud cover across portions of Arkansas down into the Gulf where some showers and thunderstorms are firing up. Otherwise, here in the Mid-South, via windy.com, winds mainly out of the northeast at about 6 miles per hour. Pretty quiet across much of the area for right now. Temperatures mainly back into the mid to upper 60s to lower 70s. Decently quiet, but nothing showing up in the way of showers or thunderstorms at this point. Also, doesn't look like anything huge happening. According to the National Weather Service 7-day hazardous weather outlook, things are quiet for right now. Nothing major popping up into the next couple of days. That could always change. That's the nature of the forecasting business. So keep it tuned and we'll help you update on that as well. From the Weather Underground, the 10-day forecast showing lots of sunshine mixed in with some cloud cover out there, and high temperatures creeping a little higher over the next several days, going from the lower 90s today, about 93 for the Memphis metro area, cooling off a bit as we go into Wednesday, about mid-80s for highs, which will feel like an Arctic blast at this time, right on into Thursday. But by this next weekend, we'll be looking for temperatures in the lower 90s and heat indexes by early next week, also pushing the century mark once again. So we could be seeing some pretty hot conditions out there with a bit of a break coming our way. So not doing too bad on the numbers as we go into the next few days. Definitely not a heat wave, but it is typical August weather for the Mid-South. So please plan ahead. Take breaks. Make certain you're drinking all that water to put back what your body sweats away. If you're working or exercising outdoors, always a good idea for that. All right, back to Mars. Cooling things off by just a bit. The InSight lander, which has been on Mars now since Sol 611, that's Martian day time. Mars days are just a little bit longer than Earth, and they're called sols, S-O-Ls, for basically the day length on Mars. And we've seen, again, high temperatures on Mars back into around 5 degrees Fahrenheit. That's as warm as it gets. In and around the area of InSight's landing zone, low temperature of minus 135 degrees Fahrenheit. So hopefully that'll cool you off a bit there. Want to know more about the Mars Curiosity rover and the remote environmental monitoring station, which is on the mass cam for the head of the camera that sits above the rover as it moves around Mars? You can find out more by going to mars.nasa.gov, and I'll give you the website to find out more about that coming up in just a bit. Also, don't forget, we are on the tail end of a meteor shower. The Perseids are some of the biggest and most brightest meteors of the year. Didn't get a chance to get out and watch them. That's okay. There's a site called livemeteors.com to where you are watching this information right here. It's a radio wave which is sent up into the atmosphere, bounces off the ionosphere back down to a receiving station. When that happens, the meteors passing through the atmosphere change the angle of the radio waves, and you will occasionally see them show up, and you can also hear them as this ghostly ping. There was one right there. I don't know if you can hear the audio from this or not, but you can see the chart showing where and when. There was a couple of good ones passing through from what it looks like. And again, good opportunity to see more about live meteors coming through the atmosphere, even if you can't get outdoors to take a look at what goes on. Want to see any of these websites? Well, check out my websites. They're all available, again, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. All opportunities to take a look and see what goes on out there in the Mid-South area. I'd be glad to have you along for more information on that. Currently, again, we're looking at a pretty hot day coming up across the area. Time is now just past 7 o'clock on Monday morning. Again, kids going back to school. Watch those crosswalks, and again, a little bit of extra time on the roadways, a little less speed would never be a bad idea. Check out my social media websites. You can find me all out there. Also, contact me at Meteorologist Austen Onek at gmail.com. If you got any questions or would like to see anything added onto here, be glad to have you along. And, of course, we'll be doing more in the course of the next several days and weeks as we get back to school and getting up early in the morning. So stay tuned for a lot more from Weather from Oz. I'm Meteorologist Austen Onek. You've been watching Weather from Oz. Thanks for joining us, and stick around for a lot more on social media and throughout the rest of the week.